Here in Pittsburgh, temperatures at 40 degrees. It is expected to rain all day long as we are just about ready for the Steelers and the Browns here on CBS. Spiro Dedes, Steve Berline, our entire CBS crew. Sean Sweezum will kick. Browns winning the toss and will receive. Fozzie Whitaker, their backup running back team. You see the Steelers, they have owned this head-to-head series, especially here in Pittsburgh, where they have defeated the Browns 9 straight times. Steelers, the thrilling win in Green Bay last Sunday to keep their playoff hopes alive. And the Browns blowing a 10-point lead at the Jets and losing in New Jersey 24-13. So here comes Jason Campbell and his Cleveland offense. Campbell today starting his 8th game of the season as a Brown. And Steve, it has been a rough go, just 1-6.
Yeah, it has been a rough go for Jason Campbell. There's been flashes of brilliance, but it has not been a consistent high-level performance that you can expect out of Jason Campbell. Last week, his performance in that game was not very good at all.
Edwin Baker, the first-year running back and former college teammate of Le'Veon Bell, is the starting running back. Takes the pitch, finds the outside edge, and run out of bounds at about the 25-yard line. Let's take a look at the starters in front of Campbell. Garrett Gilkey, the rookie out of Chadron State, the 23-year-old making the start for the injured Sean Laval at guard. We mentioned Edwin Baker, former teammate of Le'Veon Bell, made his NFL debut 2 weeks ago against Chicago, and they like this young man. Free agent signee, undrafted player. Spent nearly 2 full seasons as a practice squad player before finally getting a shot with Cleveland. This is Campbell on 2nd and 4. Finds his man on a little screen pass. That's Josh Cooper. Only his 5th catch of the season. Defensive starters, this an aging unit. As we mentioned, Brett Kiesel could very well be playing his final game in the black and gold. Hard to believe the 35-year-old former 7th-round pick. Chris Carter making the start today. Jason Worlds, one of their surprise players, out with an abdominal injury sustained last week. And Troy Polamalu, the 2010 Defensive Player of the Year, headed to his 8th Pro Bowl. Got the word on Friday night. Got that big forced fumble late last Sunday at Lambeau Field to set up the go-ahead touchdown. 3rd and 7. Nowhere to throw for Campbell. And he's just going to throw it out of bounds. Jarvis Jones, the outside linebacker, the rookie from Georgia, forces him out, and the Browns will punt.
Yeah, good coverage on that play. Nowhere to go. Jason Campbell had really good protection. You can see right there, enough time to scan the whole field, and then he's an athletic guy that can tuck it and go. But Jarvis Jones showed his ability to close right there. The reason he was the first-round draft choice out of Georgia. Good, solid first drive. First series for the Pittsburgh Steelers defense.
Spencer Lanning, the first-year punter from South Carolina, to boot it away. And Antonio Brown selected to the Pro Bowl both as a receiver and return man. Back deep at his own 30. Certainly not ideal conditions for the kickers today as Brown fields from inside his own 35. Out of bounds just after the catch. Johnson Batamasi able to run him out. 44-yard punt and a return of 4 yards. Here comes Ben Roethlisberger. He has owned the Cleveland Browns since coming into the league in 2004. The Ohio native, 16-1 all-time against Cleveland. That's tied for the highest win percentage by a quarterback against an opponent since 1950, evening himself. Steve, Roger Staubach was 16-1 against the Giants.
Yeah, you think about that number. That means this is the 9th consecutive year that they have basically not lost to the Cleveland Browns except for one time in the last 9 years. That's a pretty impressive run.
Roethlisberger has been so good of late. 14 touchdowns, just 2 picks over his last 6 weeks. First game of pass sales too high. Time intended for Emmanuel Sanders, who today is playing on that bulky knee. Starters up front for the Steelers. David Castro was a question mark. Limited practice time this week with back spasms. The former 24th overall pick. We mentioned Sanders hurt his knee at Green Bay in the 2nd quarter last Sunday. Did not return. I didn't know if he was going to play this week, but obviously with the urgency level, strapping it on, making the start.
Yeah, 2 points
for Mike Tomlin.
Hey, sword over here, sword over here.
Le'Veon Bell split out at the top of your picture on 2nd and 10. the tight end, Heath Miller. Out of bounds close to the first down marker. He's about a yard short as they pick up 9. Defensive starters for the Cleveland Browns is Mally Kitchen making the start for Phil Taylor. Taylor suffering a concussion last Sunday at the Jets. Jaquel Jackson, 8th straight year that he will miss the NFL playoffs. 7th in the NFL in tackles. And the back end, Leon McFadden in. We mentioned the absence of the newly minted Pro Bowler Joe Hayden. The 4th-year man out today with that hip injury. And for McFadden, his first start in the base defense for Cleveland in his 1-year career. 3rd and 1. This is Jonathan Dwyer, who's become their short yardage back. And the 4th-year runner out of Georgia Tech moves the chains with a pickup of 5.
Well, one thing you could always count on the Pittsburgh Steelers over the years is the physical running game right there. Jonathan Dwyer, the bigger of the running backs for the Pittsburgh Steelers, pounds it up in there. Good push on that offensive line behind Kobe Wallace and David DeCastro, the right guard.
So 1st and 10 inside Cleveland territory. They mark it just outside the 47. Browns showing blitz. They'll try to bounce back inside. Picks up a couple of yards close to the 45. Tackle made by Craig Robertson. So this Pittsburgh offense, Steve, that is peaking right at the right time. They've topped 30 points in consecutive games. First time that's happened since 2007.
Yeah, and Le'Veon Bell's been a big part of it. You know, Mike Tomlin told us they feel like they finally found their every down guy that's going to be a staple for them for the years to come. Last week going over 100 yards, as we said in the open, for the first time in 23 games.
Go-ahead touchdown late with 1:28 left in the 4th quarter.
After
that forced fumble by Troy Polamalu. This is 2nd and 8. Roethlisberger under pressure, so difficult to bring down. Completes to his man. It's Antonio Brown. He's got some real estate inside the 25 and brought down at the 20 to Sean Gibson. Finally makes the step, but not before Brown picks up 25.
Well, we talked about it in the open, the ability for Ben Roethlisberger to extend plays right there. They had Antonio Brown doubled underneath, but because Big Ben broke the contain right there, you see him coming up, buying that time. That allowed Antonio Brown to uncover and come up with a big play.
Brown, the 4th-year player, former 6th-round pick out of Central Michigan, 3rd in the NFL in receiving yards, behind only Cleveland's Josh Gordon and Calvin Johnson, who is not playing today. First down pass from Roethlisberger intended for Sanders in the end zone is incomplete. Very tight coverage on the play by Buster Skrine, who has been one of the top defensive backs for Cleveland.
I like going up top on first down, trying to get the quick strike outside to Emmanuel Sanders. But as you said, Spiro, great coverage by Buster Skrine right there. Probably, considering the situation, Joe Hayden not on the field, he's the best cover guy the Browns have. I would expect to see Big Ben going after McFadden more often than Skrine today.
Antonio Brown split out at the top of your picture. Skrine, by the way, tied for 6th in the NFL with 18 passes defensed. Roethlisberger in 2nd and 10 going end zone. He's got his man in his country, and they say he was out of bounds. Buster Skrine was the closest defensive back as Roethlisberger just missed him.
I think it's the right call. We're going to get a shot at it here, Spiro. Let's look at those feet. Yeah, he just couldn't drag that left foot. That's the right call. Great call by the officials. I think that ball, Ben has been so decisive and so consistent this year. I think he was a little bit late getting that ball up, and that was the difference between getting that 2nd foot down or not.
See the early numbers from Roethlisberger. This is 3rd and 10. As Big Ben works from the gun. Brown's coming. Roethlisberger over the middle, completes this time to Patry. And that is enough for the first down. He's brought down at the 10, 11 yards, and it'll be 1st and goal for the Steelers.
Well, it's the little things about Ben Roethlisberger that make him special. Right there, you see him just shuffling around, buying that extra time. He's not the kind of quarterback that's going to sit back in the pocket and pick you apart like a Peyton Manning. He can do that, but what makes him special is that ability to buy that extra split second to get the pass up the field.
saw what the Steelers have done in the red zone, and that, according to Ben, what he told us on Friday, one of the biggest differences, they've been much more efficient inside the 20. First and goal pass, caught by Cotchery, lunges to the end zone, and he is in. And the Steelers with a quick strike in front, 6-0.
Last week in Green Bay, the Steelers were 4 of 5 with touchdowns in the red zone. Right here, just a busted coverage. Buster Screen got caught up inside with some kind of an action. Something pulled him inside from his corner position. That left the flat area wide open, and Cotchery was just sitting there. All he had to do was make the catch and fall into the end zone. Great recognition by Ben Roethlisberger of the busted coverage by Cleveland.
28 touchdown pass of the season for Roethlisberger, and the 10th by the former Jet Cotchery. Squeezing on for the point after. It is perfect. And the Steelers tack on the extra point. 7-0 Pittsburgh. Still alive in the AFC playoff picture. Stay with us. Steelers opening drive resulting in the Jericho Cotchery touchdown. Covers 62 yards, 9 plays in just over 3.5 minutes. And see what Roethlisberger did on the drive. They converted 2 third downs, including a 3rd and 10. How about Cotchery, 10th touchdown catch of the season as Whitaker catches in the back of the end zone. It'll be a touchback for the Browns when we come back. 7-0 Pittsburgh on CBS. Back with you here in Pittsburgh. We told you the scenario for the Steelers. They need a win, and then losses by Miami, Baltimore, and San Diego later this afternoon. Right now, the Jets and Miami scoreless. Baltimore, the early lead over Cincinnati. The Bengals have already clinched the AFC North, but still playing for seeding. Jason Campbell back to throw, 1st and 10. Finds Chris Ogbonnaya, the 4th-year runner out of Texas. Forced out of bounds by the rookie linebacker Jarvis Jones as Steve, we go back to the touchdown.
Yeah, I want you to look right there at Buster Screen. Here's Jericho Cotchery. He's going to get clearing routes. He's just going to run out in the flat. But Buster Screen, for some reason, steps up. I don't know what there's no run, actually. He steps and he slips there in the flat. That leaves Cotchery standing out in the flat wide open. Nobody out there. Easy as it's going to ever get for a touchdown pass for Ben Roethlisberger to Jericho Cotchery.
Cotchery, the longtime Jet, has been Big Ben's safety net in the red zone with his 10th touchdown catch. And with Baker, who made the start. Baker only his 3rd game since being signed off the Houston Texans practice squad. Norv Turner, Rob Jasinski told us, had known of him, had him on his practice squad, Steve, in San Diego, and they feel like Baker could be one of their future running backs.
Yeah, you know, Norv Turner coming with Rob Jasinski, they'd worked together in San Diego and flipped roles, but Norv Turner, very respected by Rob Jasinski, and he liked Edwin Baker. That was all Jasinski needed to hear, and he's been a big plus for him.
You see Cleveland's last one in Pittsburgh back in 03. Baker, the first straight up the gut inside Steelers territory, 21 yards. Polamalu finally makes the tackle.
Well, this is just a good solid run. And watch the cut by Baker right here. It's supposed to be a sweep, but he's an instinctive back. You can see that in a run like that because that play was supposed to go wide, but he felt the hole up the middle, decided to plant and cut it right down the pipe. I think Pittsburgh was caught off guard. They were expecting him to run the sideline.
Baker, the undrafted first-year player, he's 22 years of age. Polamalu nearly took the handoff. 1st and 10. As Baker again able to pick up some positive yardage, and look how fast Polamalu, Steve, comes across the line of scrimmage, 5-yard run.
Well, there's only one Troy Polamalu. I mean, you're not going to see anybody else that has that ability to time the snap count and come in there with that kind of reckless abandon, causing all kinds of chaos in the backfield. Super job by Cleveland, though, not getting rushed or panicked. They ran the play where it was supposed to be run and made a nice, solid 5-yard gain.
2nd and 5. Here's Ogbonnaya in the backfield, giving Baker a blow. Pump fake from Campbell under pressure, finds Ogbonnaya inside the 40. Tackle made by Vince Williams, the rookie linebacker. 4-yard pass play. There is a penalty marker right around the line of scrimmage. Mike Carey is our referee.
before the pass. Holding. Defense number 28. 5-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
Cortez Allen flagged as we send you to New York in an update with James Brown.
Carolina clinches the South with the win, but...
Yeah, and the Falcons are trying to put a damper on that parade. Matt Ryan, 9 yards to Jason Snelling into the end zone. Falcons on top early, 7-0 over the Panthers.
Spiro Ditas and Steve Berline.
All right, guys, Carolina already in, trying to clinch that NFC South and potentially an opening round bye. Edwin Baker back onto the field after the penalty. 1st and 10 inside the Steelers' 40, and Baker going nowhere. Cameron Hayward getting there first for a Steelers defense, Steve, that has certainly taken a step back this year. Their coordinator, Dick LeBeau, now 76 years of age. Was the oldest unit in the NFL, but some very proud players. No Jason Worlds today, their outside linebacker, one of their rising young players, out with that abdominal strain. And that a guy who has seen it all and been through it all. 55 years in the league as a player and coach. There's some trickery on the play, little wildcat formation. As Cleveland going to Marquise Gray, one of their tight ends, taking the direct snap and being run down to the 35.
Yeah, a little creativity there by Norv Turner, making that call, putting Marquise Gray in the backfield as a quarterback, and a good solid first down run. Something else for Pittsburgh to think about, for Dick LeBeau to have to scratch his head and figure out how they want to handle that as the game progresses.
Campbell from the gun on 3rd and 8. Throwing sideline and finding Cooper. Cooper did not have a catch until last week, had 4 receptions at the Jets, and this is 2nd today.
Well, Rob Chudzinski, head coach for Cleveland, told us how important it was, in his opinion, to get Jason Campbell off to a good start, good rhythm coming out. He said when he has good rhythm early in the game, he tends to play well. If he comes out a little bit shaky, things can go south. So it's all go south to kind of get him back on track. Right now, he looks pretty confident, pretty comfortable in the pocket.
9-yard hookup to Cooper sets up a 1st and 10 just outside the 25. Play action from Campbell. All day to throw. And that time off target. Gray was the intended receiver, the rookie tight end from Minnesota, Cortez Allen.
Well, this ball, Spiro, was a little bit late to Gray on the outside. Let's see what happened with Josh Gordon down the sideline, though. It seemed like he was just kind of a decoy on that route, but I think Cortez Allen sensed it and fell off. Now, Josh Gordon, you know, the issue with him has always been, can he keep his head in it? Can you keep him focused? He's been focused all year, but he's got to finish this season up strong for the Browns.
Haven't called his number yet today. This is the 8th play of the drive for Cleveland. Baker on 2nd and 10, and will just barely get back to the line of scrimmage. Ryan Clark, the 12th-year safety, making the tackle for the Steelers.
Well, good solid pursuit, like you said, Spiro. Right here, Baker, not much he could possibly do there. Good support coming up by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Ryan Clark, support from the safety role. So now you got a dangerous 3rd and 9.5, 10 yards. Cleveland in field goal range. Jason Campbell's got to be smart. He's a 9-year vet. He's got to make a good decision here. If there's a shot at the field, take it. But if not, you can't have that disastrous turnover here.
10th play of the drive. This is 3rd and 9. Campbell under pressure. It's stripped, and the Steelers recover. Disastrous play. Chris Carter, the outside linebacker, on the recovery, and the Steelers take it back. Jason Campbell had it poked away from the back, and look who, Brett Kiesel, doing it for the Steelers defense. Well, if you thought your fantasy season was over, think again. Play NFL Playoff Challenge. 8 players, 4 rounds. And to learn more and sign up, visit NFL.com/fantasy. Another look at that turnover as they look at the hand of Jason Campbell.
Right there, left guard. Garrett Gilkey, the rookie, 7th-round draft choice out of Chadron State. Tough matchup. You got Brett Kiesel coming off the edge. You got to be more stout, though, young man, if you want to have a solid performance against a player like that.
Gilkey making his first career start for the injured Sean Laval. This is Will Johnson leapfrogging the defender, lunging forward close to the 31. Nice pickup, 8 yards. DeQuell Jackson forced him out.
Nothing fancy about this one, just the little roll to the right, quick screen pass out there. Johnson does a good job using his blockers. A nice pickup on first down for Pittsburgh. First down key, trying to keep yourself in manageable situations.
Roethlisberger play action, 2nd and 2. He's intercepted. It's picked off by Craig Robertson, the middle linebacker, and Cleveland takes it back. Only the 3rd interception by Roethlisberger in the last 7 weeks. And Cleveland able to take the football back.
And been disappointed with himself right there. That was just a bad read. He knows it, and he's played so consistently this year. As we said, Mike Tomlin believes his best year to this point of his career. And right there, he just did not see the backside coverage. Robertson was hanging out back there. Ben, it was one of those, I can tell you, Spiro, when that ball leaves your hand as a quarterback, a lot of times you catch that color flashing out of the side of your peripheral vision, and you realize just a little bit too late that something bad's about to happen.
First interception of the season by Robertson, who's had somewhat of a disappointing year for Cleveland. 1st and 10, Campbell back on the field under center, just outside the Steelers' 35.
That's a big opportunity for Jason Campbell and the Browns here.
Baker tackled for a loss, and Brett Kiesel. A lot of talk this week about this potentially being Kiesel's last game as a Steeler, 35 years of age, the oldest defensive lineman, Steve, in the NFL.
Well, that was a bust. Again, on the left side right there, you saw Garrett Gilkey, the left guard. He and Alex Mack, the center, double-teamed on one man. Nobody came out to block Brett Kiesel. I'm assuming it's the rookie Gilkey right there that just busted. Made a very easy play for a very happy Brett Kiesel.
Kiesel already a forced fumble, had the fumble recovery late last week at Lambeau Field. Huge start as Campbell unable to locate Gordon. Let's get you back to New York. Busy day, postseason scenarios. Let's get an update in New York.
Rough Dalton start.
Well, on the second possession, the same thing that happened on the first possession. Picked off by James E. Hedibo. Ravens leads to another field goal, 6-0 early. Ravens over the Bengals.
And that's Dalton at home where he plays well. Back to Spiro and Steve.
All right, guys, thanks. The Ravens, like the Steelers, playing for their postseason lives. They can clinch with a win, and a Miami loss or a Chargers loss. San Diego will play at home against the Chiefs. 3rd and 10 for Campbell. Pump faking left. He's inside the 30. Tackled by Jarvis Jones and Chris Carter. Campbell a pickup of 6 for the Browns.
Looks like Cleveland will probably go out and kick a field goal here, I'm assuming. Well, we got 4th and 4. Well, maybe not. They're going to go for it.
Well, Campbell now will go back to the sideline. We'll get a towel trying to wipe down his hands. You're kind of in no man land, Steve, especially in this kind of weather.
You're exactly right, Spiro. You're looking at a 46-yard field goal to try to go with it in these conditions. Maybe Rob Chudzinski doesn't believe that Billy Cundiff has got that kind of leg in these conditions.
And why not? Browns have lost 6 straight. And now they're going to think about it. Campbell turns and signals for time. 7-0 Steelers, under 2 to play here in the first. Rain continues to come down. Players trying to stay as dry as they can. 7-0 Steelers. With a minute 59 to play in this first quarter. Jason Campbell and the Browns are going to go for it. They thought about it, Steve, during the timeout.
Yeah, there was some disorganization there. A good timeout taken right there by Chudzinski.
Campbell out of a shotgun. They pick up the blitz over the middle. Cooper had it and dropped it. Would have been a first down for the Browns, but instead a turnover on downs. And Roethlisberger and the Steelers get it when we come back. errant pass by Jason Campbell on a 4th and 4 play. So the Steelers and Ben Roethlisberger back onto the field up 7 with 1:54 left in the first. 1st and 10, this is Le'Veon Bell. Back to the original line of scrimmage. Let's take you back to the 4th down play. I'm sure Campbell, Steve, wants this one back.
He wants it back. It wasn't a good throw. It was the right call by Norv Turner. They had Josh Cooper coming open down the middle of the field right there. You see Campbell's got to make a better throw, but Josh Cooper still can make that catch. If he breaks his stride, turns his shoulders back to that ball, he can catch it and fall for the first down. He was trying to scoop it with the one hand and take it on the run. I think that was a bad decision by him. In these conditions, you got to make the sure catch. Stop, try and get that other hand on the ball, protect it, and make a first down.
Clock continues to run. We come up on the final minute. Roethlisberger from the gun, 2nd and 9. High snap. Draw play to Bell across the 35. Hard collision there. Pickup of 7. It'll set up a 3rd and short. Leon McFadden and Gibson on the tackle. This new year, get a little crazy with Robin Williams and the Crazy Ones. New episode Thursday, 9/8 Central, only CBS.
You know, the Pittsburgh Steelers huddling more today than we're used to seeing them, Spiro. They're mainly, almost exclusively now, an up-tempo, no-huddle team with Ben Roethlisberger in control. For some reason, more huddle today. We were under the impression we were going to see a lot of a no-huddle.
Trying to play in this steady rain that was not expected to hold up. Roethlisberger going backwards. Billy Wynn making the start today, coming from the outside edge. And by the time Roethlisberger saw him, it was too late. They dumped him for 10.
Well, it's obvious to me, number 77, Marcus Gilbert right there, was expecting a little bit of help inside right there. He's looking at David DeCastro, number 66, saying, man, I thought you were going to be on my inside helping out. That was a miscommunication. Gilbert did get driven back by Wynn into the backfield, but he was expecting that inside help.
Billy Wynn, Cleveland's utility guy up front with his 2nd sack of the season. End of one, 7-0. Steelers will return to Pittsburgh after this. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Start of the 2nd quarter. Happy holidays, happy new year from Pittsburgh. Spiro Dedes, Steve Berline with you. It was a good start for the Steelers, but their offense has sputtered now after the pick. Here is the scenario. Steelers can clinch the final wild card spot with the win, and then victories elsewhere by Cincinnati. Jets have to beat Miami, and then later today, Kansas City must defeat the Chargers. And so far, Cincinnati with a 1-point lead over the Ravens, Jets, and the Dolphins are scoreless. Matt McBride on the punt. 10th-year kicker from Hawaii and fielded by Jordan Poyer, who signals for the fair catch inside the 30. That is a 43-yard punt. As we take a look at the quarterback comparison, early stages here of the 2nd. Roethlisberger, Steve, only his 3rd pick, as I mentioned, in the last 7 weeks.
Yeah, he's played at such a high level that you almost expect him to make the right decision all the way through. And the way he came out first series, right down the field, and right now you see Josh Gordon and Antonio Brown, somewhat quiet to this point. Brown with the 1 catch for a nice 3rd down conversion. But Ben made a mistake, but his level of play this year, you expect him to eliminate that and get this offense going again.
Here's Edwin Baker making the start today across the 30 as we send you back to New York, and James Brown for an update.
Dalton trying to make amends.
Yes, JB, on this pass here, he ties Carson Palmer's single season franchise record for most touchdowns in the season, 32 to A.J. Green. 7-6, Bengals on top of the Ravens.
Spiro Dedes and Steve Berline.
Well, J.B. Shannon, they just announced and showed that highlight here, and the fans in Pittsburgh know very well what needs to happen. They were excited when they saw Cincinnati score that touchdown.
The Steelers faithful today are Bengals fans. This is 2nd and 6. Baker trying to find the outside. They're the 35-yard line, brought down by Jarvis Jones. The rookie linebacker Jones was a late scratch last Sunday at Green Bay. Unexpectedly had to sit it out with illness. And a good start, Steve, for Edwin Baker, this guy who Cleveland fans are still getting to know. 9 rushes so far from 41 yards.
Yeah, he has stepped up well for him and provided some stability at that running back position. You got one-on-one up top with Josh Gordon.
3rd and 2 inside the 35. Campbell, you saw him nearly slip through his fingertips, finding Baker. But Baker, all he can do is get back to the line of scrimmage. They are well short of the first down marker. Lawrence Timmons on the tackle.
Yeah, these conditions are a little bit dicey here for a quarterback. You know, right there you see Jason Campbell, one of the quarterbacks, does not wear a glove on his throwing hand. That ball just slipped out of his hand. It's a little bit moist. It's almost better for the ball to be saturated. It almost sticks in your hand better than to have that little light glaze of water on it, because you combine that with the new leather, it makes that ball a little bit slick.
You can see the moisture on the ball here. Spencer Lanning is on the field. Will punt from his own 25. Antonio Brown fielding from his own 26. Brown run out of bounds across the 35. 39-yard punt from Lanning, 7-yard return. 7-0 Steelers. Steelers offense having some issues after that very impressive opening touchdown drive. The Roethlisberger interception, and then 3 and out on that last series. Back onto the field here, 1st and 10, out past the 30. Keep it on the ground to Le'Veon Bell, the 21-year-old, minimal yardage on 1st down. Fantasy football fans, keep the excitement going all postseason with Playoff Challenge, now with bigger cash prizes. See rules and sign up now at cbssports.com/fantasy. Stevie mentioned Le'Veon Bell, the year that he's had over 100 yards last week for the first time, the game-winning touchdown. He's had the most productive season for Steelers rookie running back since Franco Harris in 1972. So high on this young man and his future here as Bell finds a seam, spinning across the 40 and still going. Close to the 50. 1st down run to Quell Jackson stops him after a pickup of 17. Back to New York and James Brown.
Miami with incentive.
Win and Baltimore loses, you get in. But you got to win first. 5 yards, Mike Wallace, 60 minutes. 7-0 Dolphins over the Jets.
60 minutes.
All right,
Back
guys,
to
so
Spiro
clearly
and
not
Steve.
good news there for the Steelers. Miami, one of the teams in Pittsburgh needing to lose today, in addition to Baltimore and San Diego. You see there the playoff scenario for the Steelers. Steve, I don't think they'll be showing that highlight on the board here inside Heinz Field. Is
No, not
Bell inside Cleveland territory.
Not unless they want to see some tears. And Spiro, you and I did the Buffalo-Miami game last week, and to see Miami bounce back is pretty impressive, because last week they looked terrible. They got 6 first downs a full game against Buffalo. Sure, it was tough conditions. They were overmatched up front, but I didn't think they'd be able to bounce back. Looks like Joe Philbin's got them ready to play today at this point.
Buffalo winning that game 19-0 in less than ideal playing conditions in Buffalo. 2nd and 6, Roethlisberger completes. That's Antonio Brown for the 1st down. Making Sanders, I beg your pardon. Sanders playing on that knee injury today, 8 yards and a Steelers 1st down.
Well, it's no coincidence, Spiro, that the passing game opens up when you're able to run the ball like the Steelers are today with Le'Veon Bell. Those nice physical runs, we've seen a few of them on this drive, open up the passing game. And this is a Steelers team that, until Le'Veon Bell has really picked it up these last several weeks, they were one of the worst rushing teams in the league. They're still only averaging about 84 a game, which is 29th in the NFL, but it's been much better lately. That opens up a lot of stuff all over the field.
Tomlin saying the run game has been one of the more disappointing aspects of their season. As Steve mentioned, they're 29th in the league entering this one today. Steve, just over 84 yards on the ground per week, and that not what we've been used to with the Steelers.
Yeah, the last several years have been disappointing for by their standards. But Mike Tomlin, you can see him smiling right there. He loves the physical mentality that straight-ahead running game brings, and he knows that it plays perfectly into the hands of Ben and what he can do with the passing game, and also the defense. It keeps that older defense rested and fresh on the sideline when you can grind up clock and make yards running the football.
Bell, the 2nd running back taken after Cincinnati's Giovanni Bernard last spring, as that pass deflected at the line of scrimmage. And this Cleveland defense coming with Jabal Sheard, who got a hand on it on the edge.
Yeah, and that ball was flailing out of Ben's hand anyway. He didn't have a good grip on it. It was slipping out of his hand. Looked like Jabal Sheard did get a hand on it as well. He's unblocked on that play, and it's the quarterback's job to find a lane to get it to that receiver outside on that quick screen. And Rob Chudzinski told us yesterday that was one of the big focuses this week. That quick screen game for Pittsburgh has been causing people a lot of trouble lately.
3rd and 5. They spot it at the Cleveland 35. Roethlisberger slinging it to the sideline. It's caught by Brown, and that will be enough for the Steelers' first down. Needed to get just to the 30, and Brown did as he's run out of bounds.
Well, Ben Roethlisberger told us that, you know, you look at Antonio Brown, you put him up there with the top 20 receivers in the league, you would think that he does not belong. Physically, he's only 5'10", they've got him listed at, and probably right around 190 pounds. But he has become the go-to guy here. He finds a way to get open. He's got great hands, and Mike Tomlin said probably the hardest worker on the team.
1st and 10, Bell. A little burst over center inside the 25, and a nice run on first down. Getting back to Brown, not a lot of people, Steve, saw this kind of year coming. Had a bit of a step-back season last year. But this year, 3rd in the NFL in receiving behind only Josh Gordon and Calvin Johnson. He's 5th in the league in all-purpose yards at over 1,800. That's the 5th most in Steelers history.
And there was a lot of question coming out of last year because remember a guy by the name of Mike Wallace took off. He was the go-to guy here, went down to Miami, and really nobody knew what they had or the full extent of what they had in Antonio Brown. And what a pleasant surprise it's been for Mike Tomlin and his crew.
2nd and short inside the 20. Bell again, and Bell is not a guy who shies away from contact. His first fumble all season last Sunday at Green Bay, and really bounced back.
Watch how decisive he is right there. There's no messing around right there. He gets up into the line. He's patient, presses it up into the hole where he's supposed to go, and knows how to read the pursuit of the defense. He saw them over pursue. The cutback lane was there, and he went for it and finished the run off physically, which is what Pittsburgh, again, has always been known for.
Antonio Brown lines up in the backfield. Take the little bubble screen pass. 1st and 10. Brown shuffles inside the 15-yard line, close to the 10. T.J. Ward, who was selected Friday as a Pro Bowl alternate, brings him down after a pickup of 7.
This is just like a sweep. You're basically putting Antonio Brown and his speed in the backfield in a running back position, and instead of tossing the ball to him underhand, you flip it to it overhand. It's a screen pass with Lyman out in front. He's got the speed to get to the edge. I like what Pittsburgh is doing. Todd Haley and Ben Roethlisberger on the same page with this game plan right now. Nice mix of run and pass.
Todd Haley mixing it up. 2nd and 3. Just outside the 11. Draw play to Bell. Dances past the line of scrimmage. 2nd effort. Gets him down as we get a penalty marker thrown behind the line of scrimmage. Bell getting to the 5. As it stands, that is enough for the first down. Here's the penalty.
Offense number 83. 10-yard penalty is still 2nd down.
It's Heath Miller. So instead of a first-round run for Bell, they're going backwards.
You see Miller right there, just got his hand outside the framework of the body. That was Barkevious Mingo, the first-round draft choice out of LSU, who's been kind of a disappointment to this point this year for Cleveland. He started out very quickly. He's a pass rushing guy on the outside, but he's kind of stalled a little bit, maybe hit that rookie wall that we talk about so often. But right there, definitely held by Heath Miller. That cost him Pittsburgh a big first play.
Mingo, the 6th overall pick in the NFL draft. 5 sacks, but only 2 over their last 11 games. After the penalty, 2nd and 13. Pass over the middle. This is Dwyer. Inside the 15, gets close to the 12. Steelers needing to get to the 8 for the first down.
Great job by Ben Roethlisberger right there. The protection was solid, but he knew exactly where his check down was. He looked hard to the left and did not see what he wanted to see, and knew that Dwyer would be coming across into his vision. On 2nd down and long, the danger a lot of young quarterbacks try and do, they try to make it up on one play. Ben Roethlisberger knows, hey, 3rd and 4 is much better than an incomplete pass on 2nd down and having 3rd and 14.
This will be the 12th play of the drive. They had a 9-play drive to start the game that resulted in the touchdown. Daughtry in motion, bottom of your screen, 3rd and 4. Roethlisberger completes to Bell. He's got enough for the first down. There is another marker thrown behind the line of scrimmage on the defensive side. Again, Mike Carey is our referee. Steelers pointing at the Browns.
There's no flag on the play. All of action was legal. First down.
I want you to watch right here, Spiro. Watch Heath Miller right here. He goes down the middle of the field. It's a busted coverage. Ben Roethlisberger does not usually miss these opportunities. Right there, you got a chance to stick it right on the big man. Should have been a linebacker running underneath to take away that lane for Ben Roethlisberger. He'd like to have that one back for sure.
Miller missing the first 2 games of the season, coming back from that ACL tear that he sustained in their 15th game last season. They come up on 5 minutes left in the half. Bell 1st and goal. Over center, lunges inside the 5. As the Steelers looking for a win today and a lot of help. We'll keep you updated on those scores. Cincinnati, at last check, leading over Baltimore at home. Miami, a 7-0 lead over the Jets. And the time of possession, Steve, this extended drive continuing now at 8 minutes.
Yeah, this is exactly the kind of drive that Mike Tomlin, Todd Haley, and staff wanted today. They want to control the ball, grind up clock, and finish drives out with points, just like they should do on this drive.
Roethlisberger on the drive, 5 of 6. This is 2nd and goal. Bell makes win miss, fighting to the end zone, and he is in. What a run by Bell as Pittsburgh extends to a 2-touchdown lead.
You're exactly right, Spiro. Billy Wynn was unblocked coming off the edge right there. Again, Marcus Gilbert looked like he missed him, but Le'Veon Bell said, no worries, big man. I'll make one guy miss. Let me do a little spin move here, and then I'll put my head down and get us into the end zone. What a great run by the rookie. That is why we're seeing a lot of why Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers are so excited about this young man.
8th touchdown run of the season for the Steelers rookie. That is tied for 2nd most among rookie running backs in the NFL. Sweezum boots the point after through, and the Steelers now up 14-0. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Rain continues to come down here in Pittsburgh as we welcome you inside Heinz Field. 5-yard touchdown run by Le'Veon Bell, and that's where we stand, 14-0 Steelers. Short kick by Sweezum, and that will bounce out of bounds. Fozzie Whitaker fielding for Cleveland. Well, let's see what the officials do here. Here's Mike Carey.
The ruling on the field, as the receiver touched the ball while his right foot was in bounds and stepped out of bounds with left foot, making it out of bounds for the receivers at that spot. 1st down. Timeout.
That's a big mistake for Cleveland. If that ball goes out of bounds on its own, Fozzie Whitaker and the Browns would have the ball at the 40-yard line instead of right there.
Well, this week, don't miss the show that's in a league by itself with guys who take on all 32 teams and each other every week. James Brown, Phil Simms, Chris Collinsworth with the artistry of NFL films and the chemistry of the guys inside the NFL. It's the show the pros watch. Wednesday at 9, only on Showtime. Mike Carey, the referee, changing the call. They said that Whitaker's right heel was out of bounds, so they will give Cleveland the football, Steve, at the 40.
Yeah, his right heel when he touches the ball right there is on the line. Therefore, he is out of bounds, contacting the football. That's a difference of 32 yards. Instead of having the ball at the 8-yard line, they now get it at the 40. That is the correct call. If he's got 1 foot in bounds as he's gaining possession of the ball and then goes out of bounds, obviously it would be at the 8-yard line. But since both feet were out of bounds, no doubt that he is considered out of bounds at that point. Mike Tomlin not liking the explanation he's getting from Mike Carey, but looks like they're having a little laugh about it at least.
Got a chance to catch up with Tomlin on Friday. He said whatever happens here, whatever the playoff scenarios are later, he'll head back home, head down into his basement with his 2 young boys, ages 12 and 13.
The ruling on the field is that the receiver was out of bounds before he touched the ball. That means the kickoff out of bounds. Therefore, their ball at the 30-yard line.
You know, truly, Spiro, if you want to really take the literal interpretation of what he said, the fact that his left foot was out of bounds, either one of his feet are out of bounds, he's considered to be out of bounds. So it doesn't matter about that right foot. He's out of bounds as soon as that left foot hits out of bounds. Now, what Rob Chudzinski is going to tell Whitaker is that next time, do not touch that ball.
Right. You
Let
don't
it
even have to
bounce
be in
out
the
of bounds.
vicinity.
Yeah, no, make sure there's no question about it. That's a big difference, though, right there. You get the good field position as opposed to being backed up.
Whitaker started the year with San Diego, played 3 games for the Chargers before the Browns claimed him off waivers prior to their game in Week 5. Campbell from the gun, 1st and 10 inside the 40. Campbell airing it out over the middle, has his man. It's the tight end Jordan Cameron. Headed to his first Pro Bowl, got the call Friday night, and today playing with that concussion that he sustained 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, just got cleared officially on Friday to play the game. He told us yesterday that he was excited to come back, but that, you know, he was still, up until this past Friday, had not been symptom-free for long enough. What a bright young future, a bright young player this guy has, and a bright future ahead of him. That's his 76th catch on the year, going to his first Pro Bowl.
24-yard pass play, 1st and 10. Campbell play action, rolling out. Has Gordon wide open. Gordon turns out of bounds. Has enough for the Cleveland first down, and that an 11-yard pass play, and the first time that Campbell, Steve, has found Gordon.
Yeah, nice, simple, clean read for Jason Campbell. Josh Gordon, you know, you'd like him to understand the situation a little bit better, know where he is on the sideline. I think he could have caught that ball and maybe taken it down the sideline for a few more yards. But a good, solid completion, moving the pocket, keeping everybody right in front of Jason Campbell to get a little rhythm going here all of a sudden.
It has been a staggering season for the second-year man out of Baylor, Josh Gordon. His year started with that 2-game suspension, and now approaching 1,600 yards receiving. Baker, penalty marker thrown behind the line of scrimmage back at the 28. As it stands, it's an 8-yard run by Baker.
Holding, offense number 73, 10-yard penalty, still first down.
That's Joe Thomas. He is headed to his 7th Pro Bowl. Only the 2nd Browns player ever to make the Pro Bowl in his first 7 seasons. Jim Brown, the other.
You see him right there at the top of the screen. There's 2 guys that he got a claw, definitely got a claw on Barkevious Mingo on the inside. And when you get your arms extended like that's just basically a signal to the referee that you're holding on to somebody. They're going to throw the flag more times than not.
Only 11 players have done it first 7 years going to the Pro Bowl. 10 of them are in Canton. Baker dropped right after the catch. Lawrence Timmons, who has had himself a fine season, certainly Pro Bowl caliber, wasn't selected on Friday night, but he gets him for a loss of 1.
Well, Timmons started all the way on the left side of the field. He's on the end of the line of scrimmage on the left side, sniffed out that screen pass to Baker, had no hesitation whatsoever, and was right there to make the tackle as soon as Baker gets that football. That's a great play by the veteran Lawrence Timmons.
Timmons suffered that broken left hand back in late October against Baltimore. Says he still plays with pain. Despite the injury, has not missed the defensive snap all season. 2nd and 21, Campbell's pass not even close. Josh Cooper targeted William Gay on the coverage, and that takes us to the 2-minute warning. 14-0 on CBS.
Well, a lot has to happen here in Pittsburgh, or for the Pittsburgh Steelers to get in. Right here, Pittsburgh Steelers taking care of business, and then Miami trying to help out and do their part. Cincinnati up 10-6. Those are the 2 of the 3 losses that I thought were very realistic. The one later at San Diego, Kansas City, with Kansas City resting people, presuming they're resting people. I think that's going to be asking an awful lot. I believe that it's going to come down to that game, though.
Chiefs, the only team in the AFC locked into its seating at number 5. Campbell on 3rd and 21 under pressure, completes over the middle to Cameron, but well short. Needed to get to about the 16 to move the chains. Let's get you back to New York and an update with JB.
Jets offense got defensive.
Rex Ryan put Sheldon Richardson in at fullback. They really didn't want to tackle him, JB. You can tell. 7-7 ball game.
Spiro and Steve.
Always a wild finish between the Jets and the Dolphins. Here in Pittsburgh, Spencer Lanning, the Browns punter, back onto the field. There is Rob Trzcinski. Maiden voyage as an NFL head coach nearing its end. Steve 4-11 as the Browns will miss the playoffs for an 11th straight year. Trzcinski, an Ohio native. This is dream job, says he grew up a Browns fan.
Timeout. Pittsburgh, their
Knows
first.
all too well about the
30-second
frustrations
timeout.
that Cleveland fans have had over the years, but very, very encouraged about the direction of the franchise. Coming up, the Verizon halftime report from New York. JB and company will have all the latest scores and all the updated postseason scenarios. The Verizon halftime report coming up in just a couple of minutes.
Well, you know, you talk about Trzcinski, Spiro, and one of the things that came through everybody we talked to yesterday was the emotional strain of this season, culminated really a couple weeks ago by that terrible loss, the come from behind loss to the New England Patriots, where they scored 2 touchdowns in the last minute of the ball game to beat them after playing so well. But he said, you know, we believe we've succeeded in changing the culture, and the focus is on the future, and I believe it'll show itself next year, despite how tough this year's been.
Cleveland was 3-2 5 weeks into the season. With 4-5 in early November, we're still alive, certainly in the division, as the AFC North certainly has taken a step back. Late first half, Steelers up by 2 touchdowns. Once again, the Verizon halftime report comes your way. Next, we'll send you to New York. JB and the guys are standing by. They'll have all the latest scores and highlights. Week 17 around the NFL. It's all coming up on the Verizon halftime report. 1:03 to play. Second quarter from Pittsburgh. You see the rain now starting to pick up. Temperatures right around 40 degrees at kickoff. Steelers needing a win here and then a lot of help. Needing losses by Miami, Baltimore, and San Diego, who will play at home against the Chiefs later today. Felix Jones on his first take. 60-year runner out of Arkansas, originally drafted by the Cowboys in the first round in 08. The first 5 years with the Cowboys. And the clock continuing to run down to 44 seconds. Browns have not been very good at the end of halves. First down pass play to Sanders. Multiple catches, that time 17 yards, and now the Steelers will take a timeout. They'll have 1 left.
Timeout. Pittsburgh,
Steve, maybe you take a shot here. Why not? 35 seconds left for Roethlisberger.
Heck yeah, you take a shot. You try to get something on the board, at least a field goal. Now you're in position to make one play and be within field goal range. And you got the luxury of a quarterback like Ben Roethlisberger. Mike Tomlin, no hesitation in that situation with a minute left. Even though you're back, you know, at your own 20-yard line, 80 yards to go, you give him a shot, see if he can make a couple plays. You got a nice run on the first play, then he makes a big pass. All of a sudden, you're now thinking points for sure.
You see the target line for Suizen, career-long 52 yards. Steve, during the timeouts, they continued to show the updates in the Miami Jets game in Baltimore, Cincinnati. How distracting is that for the players in the stadium?
Well, it's as a player, you may notice it, but you understand. I mean, you're there for a reason. You got to win this ball game, or the rest of it doesn't matter. So the focus is on this game, I guarantee you.
First and 10, Steelers again down to their final timeout. Roethlisberger sacked once already. That time it was stripped for an instant, and Roethlisberger able to fall on the football. Paul Kruger, the free agent signee from the Ravens, able to jar it loose.
Yeah, been very lucky to get this ball back. It's slick, as we've stated. The rain is just that light, misty rain, and Ben does a good job getting back up and getting another snap off.
Roethlisberger second and 7's going to take a shot. He's got Brown. But obviously with the rain coming down, Steve, he just has not had a good handle on the football. He had that pick earlier, and Roethlisberger visibly upset.
Yeah, he's upset because he knows that Antonio Brown had gotten behind the Cleveland Browns defense, and that was Julian Posey. He's behind, beat him pretty soundly right there, a couple steps behind him in a normal condition ball game where Ben can really get a good grip on that football. There's no doubt in my mind he can throw that ball 50 yards and get it out in front of Antonio Brown. Weather definitely a factor on that throw, conditions.
What a year it's been for Roethlisberger, the 2-time Pro Bowler. Second most prolific passing season of his 10-year career. 3rd and 7. It's Le'Veon Bell to the Cleveland 45-yard line, and that'll take us to halftime here at Heinz Field in Pittsburgh. 14-0 Steelers, a couple of long touchdown drives, and that's where we stand. We'll be back with the Verizon Halftime Report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Here in the rain in Pittsburgh, we are just about ready for the second half. Steelers in front, 14-0 over Cleveland. Long touchdown drive for the Steelers to start, and it was Jericho Cotchery bringing the fans here at Heinz Field to their feet. Football like you've never heard it before, presented by Sonos. Hi everyone, welcome back to the NFL on CBS. Spiro Dedes and Steve Berline with you. We told you about the scenario for the Steelers needing a win here and then 3 teams to lose, and so far, at least at this point, so good. Jets over Miami, that game just about getting to halftime, and Cincinnati a 17-6 lead at halftime over the Ravens, and I'm sure in that locker room that has to be a happy group, at least at the moment.
Oh yeah, and I bet you Mike Tomlin probably referenced it and said, hey guys, you know, it's happened before. In 1989, it's happened to the Steelers. This can happen. Now, 2 of the games, the teams are winning. You know, the Jets are beating the Dolphins and the Bengals are beating the Ravens. So let's take care of business. You never know what's going to happen in that afternoon game, but it doesn't matter if we don't win this game. Come out and play the second half the way we're capable of playing, the way we expect to play.
If the Steelers get in, they would become just the 2nd team in NFL history to start a season 0-4 and advance to the postseason. The 1992 San Diego Chargers, the only other team to do it. That miraculous finish to their season, winning 11 of their final 12 games, made it all the way to the Super Bowl before they, of course, came up short. Steelers trying to avoid missing the playoffs for consecutive years. Hasn't happened here since they missed it 3 straight years in the late 90s, 98 to 2000. Steve, it's hard to believe that they're even alive at this point, still breathing here in Week 17. Left for dead early, 0-4 in September. Then a couple of losses to Miami, and Baltimore had them at 5-8 in November.
And I was guilty of it too, Spiro. I mean, on our Monday NFL quarterback show, I referenced the fact that I thought it was over for the Steelers, that it was time to, you know, clean the cupboards and start fresh, but
it is not unprecedented. Steve just referenced it. December 24th, 89, the Steelers in Tampa Bay needing a win and a lot of help to get in. Bubby Brister to Lewis Lips, a couple of touchdowns. This one from 79 yards. The Steelers went on to win it, and then they got the help that they needed. The Colts lost to the Saints. Raiders were beaten by the Giants, and then the next night, Monday night, the Bengals fell to the Vikings, and the miraculous happened for the Steelers. And that a very similar set of circumstances for Mike Tomlin and his current group of Steelers. Le'Veon Bell in motion, 1st and 10 for Roethlisberger in Pittsburgh. Ben has been sacked a couple of times, had the pick early, that time incomplete through the hands of Antonio Brown. And it will be 2nd down coming up. This Cleveland defense, Steve, down 3 starters. We mentioned the injuries up front. Phil Taylor, as we take another look at the pass.
Well, you know, Paul Kruger, number 99, you see him there in the screen, left-hand side of your screen. He told us yesterday in our meeting that the thing about Ben that is really tough is that he's nifty. He used the word nifty in the pocket, meaning he's not, doesn't look overly athletic, but he makes little subtle movements that create space and buy him that extra time. Right there was a great example.
Yeah, Big Ben told us in our meeting with him, he used to play point guard as a high school basketball player in Lima, Ohio, and that's where he kind of learned those little juke moves that have been so good for him, so lethal as a runner, when you also factor in his size in his 10-year career.
He's so strong and so, you know, stable back there in the pocket, and a lot of times these defenders see him, they lock in on him, and they think they're just going to blow him up. They have to hit him hard, and he'll just make a little shuttle shoulder shift, and all of a sudden they're right by him. They're passing, they didn't even get a hand on him. So it all works together in his favor.
Cotchery in motion on 3rd and 5 inside the 25. Roethlisberger feeling the pressure. Low pass fielded by Cotchery. Needed to get to the 30. Ball comes loose late. Officials say Cotchery was down. He appears to be about a yard short. And the Steelers will punt. Cotchery, his 10th touchdown reception of the season. on that opening drive as the Cleveland defense holds.
Yeah, right there you saw it, number 26, Le'Veon Bell, right in the middle, picking up the blitzing Craig Robertson. And Le'Veon told us yesterday in the meeting, or Friday in the meeting, that he enjoys the pass blocking part of it, which a lot of times is the hardest thing for a young running back to pick up. But he enjoys it because it's the only time that he really gets to take a shot at the defenders. Instead of taking the hits, he's actually dishing one out. He takes it very seriously, and he's very proud of how he blocks.
Jordan Poyer fielding and signals for a fair catch inside the 30, 42-yard punt by McBriar. Your favorite superstar performers honor Shirley MacLaine, Carlos Santana, Herbie Hancock, Martino Arroyo, Billy Joel as well. The Kennedy Center honors tonight after 60 minutes, only CBS. Buster Skrine, we are told, has a shoulder injury, starting cornerback for Cleveland, and will not return. So both of their starting corners are out. Joe Hayden was a scratch today with the hip injury. And now Skrine done for the day.
That's huge right there. You're down your two starting corners. That is a significant adjustment that Cleveland's going to have to make, and Pittsburgh will try to exploit.
Fourth starter that they are missing now. Phil Taylor, John Hughes, two defensive starters up front. Did not dress. Edwin Baker run out of bounds. That is a mud pit on the Steelers' side of the field. Baker today making his first start as a Cleveland Brown, only his third appearance with his new team.
Now you see Vince Williams, the rookie out of Florida State. You don't see conditions like this down in Florida very much, but look at him taking the belly flop right there and sliding across the mud.
Williams, the sixth-round pick in the NFL draft out of Florida State. Won his starting job early in the year after Larry Foote went down with his season-ending injury. Campbell on 2nd and 10, low pass, fielded by Greg Little. First catch for Little today. He's got a clean uniform, able to get in there and change at halftime, 8 yards. And Little this week, Steve, talking about how disappointed he's been in his own performance this year. Just 40 receptions entering this one today. He had a couple of good years entering this season.
Yeah, he was their leading receiver the last couple of years. And I really like Greg Little, and I think he's got a great future. You know, this year has been real heavy toward Josh Gordon, and they haven't had stability at the quarterback position. Those things all kind of have to factor into it.
Browns just 1 of 6 on third downs. This time they get it. Draw play to Baker across the 40. Steve, what have you seen from Baker? This kid can run. He's got a good burst and first step.
Yeah, I've been impressed, and I know Norv Turner very well. Had a chance to play for Norv Turner with the Dallas Cowboys back in the early 90s, and I know what he's looking for in a running back. He's looking for a versatile, all-around type of guy that does not dance around and mess around, and he must really have felt strongly about this Baker kid, and he's starting to prove him right here for sure.
Cleveland trying to figure out what they've got moving forward. Of course, the team missing the NFL postseason, and everyone you talk to on this Cleveland offense talks about how much they love playing in a Norv Turner coach system. There's Rob Jasinski, who coached under Norv in San Diego, former tight ends coach. There's Norv. 39 consecutive years as a coach, and the 29th, Steve, in the NFL.
And Rob Jasinski himself, you know, studied under Norv Turner, learned, kind of cut his teeth under Norv. And Rob has always been the play caller in his most recent roles in Carolina. And Norv is the caller here, and he said, you know, he's the best ever. That's how he described Norv Turner.
Campbell, 2nd and 7, finds his man Cooper at the Steelers' 40, 17 yards in a Cleveland first down.
Well, and here's a great example. You know, the one thing that you're always going to find in a Norv Turner offense is you're going to find opportunities to make plays up the field. It's an aggressive, downfield offense mentality. A lot of hard play action. You get that run game going, you're going to take some shots up the field. Quarterbacks love playing in the system. And right there is a great example why.
1st and 10, they mark it at the 40. Campbell fakes to Obaniah. Back foot throw as he tries to find Gary Barnidge, the backup tight end, former 5th-round pick of the Panthers. Stevenson Sylvester, the backup inside linebacker, on the pressure.
Well, good start to the drive here by the Cleveland Browns. Coming back out, I'm sure Rob Jasinski is preaching to the the Cleveland Browns at halftime was, hey, let's just take it one play at a time, get some rhythm going, see if we can get on the board and make a game out of this.
Baker on 2nd and 10. Take it on tackler Steve. He doesn't shy away from contact, doesn't try to dance around tacklers. He goes right at him. As we have an injured Steelers player, that's Steve McClendon, their starting nose tackle, and it looks like favoring that left leg. Looks like the left ankle of Steve McClendon needed help to get to the Steelers sideline. And very slowly will take a seat on that bench. McClendon, the 4th-year player, taking over Casey Hampton's long-held spot here. Guy who came out of nowhere as an undrafted rookie for the Steelers back in 09. Third leg from the Steelers 38. Campbell again to Cooper. He has been the catalyst so far, but Troy Polamalu able to bring him down short of the first down marker, about 2-3 yards shy.
You know, Spiro, when you watch this guy play on Sundays, you see the way he throws his body around and just gives it up every week. He's like a missile. He never holds back. It's always full speed, and he gets there with a pop. We saw him on Friday in practice, and he looked like a grandpa the way he was running around. I didn't think he could play on Sunday, but they said, no, he's like that every week. He shows up ready to go on Sunday, though. Don't worry about that.
Second time that Cleveland's going for it on 4th down. They missed their first chance. 4th and 3. Campbell hit as he threw, and it is incomplete. Unable to get it to Little as Campbell took a shot. Cameron Hayward applying the spec for the Steelers. Pittsburgh will get it back next. There's Steve McClendon carted into the Steelers locker room. It appears to be the left leg. We'll try to get an update as quickly as we can. 1st and 10 for the Steelers after the turnover on downs. 14-0 Pittsburgh in front with 9:03 to play early in the second half. Roethlisberger play action to Bell's going to take a shot. Brown was there, actually hits him on the left arm. Never quite got his head around, Steve, to Sean Gibson, the 2nd-year safety on the coverage.
Well, this is one Big Ben just said, I'm going to take a shot, and almost a circus catch by Antonio Brown. You see right there, Posey, or actually it was Tayshaun Gibson, as you said, that misjudged it, and Antonio Brown almost snagged that thing with his left hand behind his head. What a catch that would have been.
Gibson singled out this week by Rob Trzcinski as a guy who was kind of a question mark coming into the year in terms of how he'd hold up, but he has played very well for this defense. That's Le'Veon Bell inside of 9 minutes to play in this 3rd quarter. We told you about the scenario for the Steelers needing a win here, and then a lot of help. And so far, the 2 other teams that are in their playoff picture are holding up their end of the deal. The Jets right now up in Miami 14-7 early in the 3rd, and the Steelers, or the Ravens rather, are losing at home 17-6, actually in Cincinnati against the Bengals. So far so good. The other game coming up later today in San Diego. The Chiefs must defeat the Chargers. 3rd and 5. Roethlisberger over the middle to Brown, has it. First down, running more, close to the 45, 7 yards. Finally run out of bounds by T.J. Ward.
Well, they just keep trying to find ways for Antonio Brown to get involved, whether it's up the field, crossing routes. He's very, very fast. He's not afraid to come across the middle. That's his 4th catch on the day. His next catch will be the 5th, and that will be leading the NFL for a number of games with 5 catches or more. That would be all 16 games this year. That's the longest streak in the NFL. Right now, he's tied with Pierre Garçon in Washington at 15 games. But that's 5 catches a game for a full season. That's pretty impressive.
Already establishing a Steelers record for receiving yards in a season as Le'Veon Bell continues to churn out yardage. 9 more there, close to another Steelers first down. Mingo on the tackle.
Well, that's just another good, solid physical run. You see the stiff arm there. You never see this guy falling backwards or sideways. He's always finding a way to finish the run, going forward, picking up that extra half a yard, and your teammates and coaches love seeing that.
Second and short. We'll see if the Steelers take a shot. Already up 14.
Antonio Brown at the top there.
Over the middle, Brown has it, crossing pattern. A lot of real estate over the middle, inside the 25, 21 yards, and a Steelers first down.
And that is his 5th catch on the day, so the streak is intact. Just a slant route, almost a little pick route by Jericho Cotchery coming up on the outside. That's all the space that Antonio Brown and Ben Roethlisberger needed to make another nice game.
Only Hines Ward has had more receptions in a season than Brown, but boy, he is getting close to that record Hines number at 112 back in 2002.
And you see Ben working the system right there, trying to get people lined up properly. This is what he loves in this offense right now.
That's Brown again, 6th catch of the day. And as you alluded to earlier, Roethlisberger talking about how, Steve, they've gone almost exclusively to that hurry-up, no-huddle offense over the last 5 to 6 weeks, and how much easier that's made things for the Steelers quarterback.
Well, you know what he said that he likes about it, Mo? He's a feel quarterback, in my opinion. He's not a quarterback that likes to be kind of technical and scripted and told what to do. He wants to go what he feels good about, and Todd Haley has given him that freedom. They discuss it between series. When he goes out on the field with a personnel group, he knows what kind of plays they want to run and how to attack, and he's done very well with it all year.
Roethlisberger 2nd and 8. Finds the tight end Miller. Nearly 600 yards receiving this season for the tight end. About his 9th season.
But Ben said that he loves this because he really gets to look at the defense, get them lined up, and go with the play that he feels really good about instead of being dependent on someone else to call the play for him. And he's obviously shown that he can handle it at a very high level.
This time Roethlisberger lines up Bell at the bottom of your screen, split out on 1st and 10 from the 15. Roethlisberger has time. Off the hands of Brown and incomplete. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Well, this is the one that got away. Antonio Brown said it partly was his fault, but right there, that ball looked like it sailed on Ben just a little bit. You can't be perfect all the time. You know, there's going to be a little, you got to show you're human once in a while. He did earlier with the interception and right there on that throw. But this year, he's played at such a high level that you sometimes wonder.
We're talking McClendon. It's a left ankle. His return is questionable. Cotchery in motion, 2nd and 10. Here come the Browns. Roethlisberger leading the set, throw in end zone. It is incomplete. Boy, Cotchery had it for an instant, and it looks like he's hurt.
Yeah, he's holding that right shoulder. He might. Let's see if that right elbow jams into the ground. That is very, very painful if that's what it is. Don't want to speculate, but he's in a lot of pain. Unbelievable job of improvising again by Ben Roethlisberger. Let's see if that right elbow slams in. There it is, right there. And you see right away the agony that he's in.
Yeah. So vulnerable as he lunged for that pass. And now the Steelers trainers tending to him at the back of the end zone.
But you got to see a little bit again about what it is about Big Ben avoiding the pressure, getting out of there. I thought he was going to be sacked, but he's strong enough to rip through a couple of arms, and then he gives his receiver a chance to make a play down the field. In a lot of circumstances, Jericho Cotchery comes down with that ball.
Cotchery, the free agent signee from the Jets back in August of 2011. A couple of big career milestones for him this year. 400 career receptions, over 5,000 yards receiving. Boy, you think the Jets want this guy back?
I would imagine.
Mistake that they made a couple of years ago, letting him go.
He's the type of receiver I love. Too big, physical guy that doesn't have the blazing speed to get up the field and run past people, but he knows how to use that body, always gives you a chance and competes for the football. And he's got 10 touchdowns this year, which is probably the highest percentage in the league if you break it down. Not quite 50 catches and 10 touchdowns.
Third trip into the red zone for the Steelers. They have scored 6 on the previous 2. 3rd and 10. Antonio Brown on another reception as he inches closer to Hines Ward and his receptions record in a single season for the Steelers. Mike Tomlin will send in a field goal unit. Well, you see Sweezum's numbers on the year is long coming from 48.
And you look at what's been going on this drive with Antonio Brown. I think the Steelers, although playing to win this game, they would probably like to try and find a way to get Antonio Brown enough catches to have a shot at that record.
Sweezum from 30, perfect. 17-0 Steelers inside of 4 to play, 3rd quarter. Tuesday, CBS Sports jumps into bowl season. Logan Thomas and the Virginia Tech Hokies taking on the UCLA Bruins and Pac-12 Offensive and Defensive Freshman of the Year, Miles Jack. 2 p.m. Eastern Time kick. Here's the deal for the Steelers. Needing a win, check. Need the Jets to take on and beat Miami. So far, so good there. And they need Cincinnati to defeat the Ravens. And right now, Bengals up 17-9. Both of those games in the 3rd quarter. So far, Steve 3 for 3.
Yep, it's still in play. And that's all that Mike Tomlin, Ben Roethlisberger could hope for. Coming into this game, we talked about the important for them to focus on taking care of their business. They obviously have done that today. And then say a few prayers, hope it works out for him.
Sweezum's kick, fielded by Whitaker, backpedaling in his own end zone, and the Browns will have it from their own 20. All Steelers here in Pittsburgh, 17-0 on CBS. 17-0 Steelers after the 30-yard Sweezum field goal. And that's where we stand. Steelers still alive, trying to get into the AFC playoffs by the skin of their teeth. Get you some of those updated scores as the second half winds down. 1st and 10 for the Browns from their own 20. Campbell's pass batted down. That's the linebacker Jarvis Jones. A busy day in Week 17. Let's go to New York and James Brown.
Not a sharp effort by Dalton at home.
JB, he's doing everything he possibly can to keep the Ravens in this ball game. 3 INTs, but the Ravens offense do not want to participate. 3 INTs have only led to 9 points. 17-9, Bengals on top.
Spiro and Steve.
All right, guys, Cincinnati must defeat the Ravens for the Steelers to have any chance.
And that's concerning if you're a Bengals fan or a believer in the Bengals. Andy Dalton not playing well in a big game like that at home.
Edwin Baker, 1st down run and a little shimmy shake. He's got a little strut, little confidence to him. 14 yards and a Cleveland 1st down.
Yeah, he's impressive. I mean, you just look at that. There's no nonsense right there. He's got some shake to him, though. I mean, but it's all. There's no side to side. He's not trying to bounce a play outside. When he makes a decision, he goes, and he's got the ability to make those moves at full speed, which obviously is an incredible asset to have.
Baker so far, 14 rushes, over 60 yards. 1st and 10 from the 34. Draw play, Campbell to Baker, and he is shirt collared by Will Allen, the 10th-year safety out of Ohio State. We touched on some of the defensive mainstays for the Steelers. Brett Kiesel perhaps playing his final game as a Steeler. And at this point, we don't know what Dick LeBeau's future holds. LeBeau, 76 years old, his 55th year in the league as a player and coach. And Mike Tomlin told us for the last 5-6 years, they've had a kind of a handshake agreement where LeBeau, after the year will end, will go off for a couple of weeks, play golf, and then call him and tell him he's coming back. He says he doesn't assume anything, but certainly hopes that LeBeau will be back next season. 2nd and 10, Campbell flushed out. Under pressure, Carter coming. And Campbell throwing it out of bounds.
Well, when you talk Dick LeBeau, though, the respect factor around the league for this guy is unmatched. As you said, 75 years old. But understand now, since 2004 when he came back to Pittsburgh, his defense overall ranks #1 in sacks, points allowed, yards per game allowed, rushing yards per game allowed, yards per pass attempt, and big plays allowed. Every single year, they're at the very, very top in all those categories. That says an awful lot. This year, they've been a little bit down, but we've talked about the age of this defense.
3rd and 10. Campbell feeling the pressure, throwing towards the sideline. What a pass! Caught by Cameron, and a Cleveland first down. A picture-perfect pass from Campbell, 21 yards.
Well, this really was a pretty pass right over the top of Will Allen, hitting Cameron in stride on the sideline. Very, very well thrown ball by Jason Campbell right there. And that's one of those flashes. He's shown bits of it throughout the course of this year. He played fantastic against New England, throwing for 391 yards and 3 touchdowns in that tough loss a few weeks back. But then he followed it up last week with an 18-for-40 performance with 2 interceptions against the Jets.
Injury update on Jericho Cotchery of the Steelers. It is a left, make it right shoulder. His return questionable. Rob Jasinski will call for time. 17-0, but Cleveland has something going. Stay with us. A quiet day so far for the NFL's leader in receiving yards. Josh Gordon, just 1 reception. They have targeted him 3 times. He was actually held to 2 catches back in Week 7 at Green Bay. But the Steelers secondary has been very physical with him. And so far it's worked. 1st and 10 after the timeout. This is Baker. Picks up maybe a yard. Steve, how have they blanketed Gordon so far?
Well, there have been a few different things going right here. Cortez Allen slips and just tackles him. That's one way to get done. They had a penalty called on that one. Then right here, ball a little bit late, and Jarvis Jones gets in there. It looked like he might have hurt his finger or hand a little bit on that play because he did go out after that play for a few. But as you can see, only targeted 3 times today. And that tells me that their coverage the Steelers are playing has been kind of geared toward taking him out of the game.
In all likelihood, he will be the first ever Browns receiver to lead the league in receiving yards. And there he is right on cue. Over the middle inside the 25. 21 yards as he finds the seam and has a Cleveland first down.
You know, I would expect at this point in the ball game with the situation as dire as it is for the Cleveland Browns, down 17-0, anytime you get one-on-one coverage with Josh Gordon, you take a shot at it because the guy is something special. I mean, he is big, he is strong, and you see the way he just engulfed that ball in his hands when it hit his hands? That ball just disappeared in those mitts.
17-0. This is the best drive that Cleveland has put together. 1st and 10. Campbell airing it out to the end zone and incomplete. It was deflected and nearly picked off by Cortez Allen. Allen had the pick 6 last week at Lambeau Field in the 3rd quarter, the 40-yard return, and nearly had a big one here.
Well, there's no excuse for that. Cortez Allen knows that is the easiest opportunity he's probably had all year. And you tell he had the big interception last week against Green Bay. Return for a touchdown right there. I think he just got a little too casual. He played it perfectly, baited Jason Campbell into the throw, and then just didn't finish.
9th play of the drive. They'll mark it inside the 24. 2nd and 10. Campbell completes to Gordon at the 15, needing to get to the 13 for the first down. Like Taylor on the tackle, 9 yards and close to another first down.
No, he had the big day as we approached the end of the quarter. Yeah, against Pittsburgh last time, 14 catches, 237 yards. But Mike Tomlin said
at the end of the 3rd quarter,
they were mostly late in the ball game.
End of 3, 17-0 on CBS. Mike Tomlin and the Steelers start the 4th quarter in front, 17-0 over the Cleveland Browns. Steelers just trying to take care of their own business here, win, and then needing a lot of help to get into the playoffs. I told you earlier they have not missed the postseason in consecutive years since Mike Tomlin took over.
And Tomlin told us, I mentioned right as we went to break, that that was not a slight on Josh Gordon saying that he got most of his catches last time late in the game. He was just saying that Pittsburgh got up on him early and they were kind of in that catch-up mode. But he said, you know, when you watch Josh Gordon on film, you look at him, he's running away from people and he's not even straining. The people that are straining are the ones trying to catch up to him, and they can't do it. They never run him down.
That graceful glide that he has. Tomlin said the only thing he remembers from the first meeting was Gordon being chased by Taylor. En route to that 237-yard performance. 3rd and short. Baker needing to get to the 8. We'll see where the officials spotted here.
It looks like it's short, Spiro. I think they're spotting it right around the 9.
And it looks like it's going to be 4th down. Well, needing to get, to the 13-yard line. They had marked it at the 14. Tomlin looking on. They've already gone for it, Steve, twice on 4th down. 30 times they've gone for it on 4th down on the season. And nothing to lose here. Jasinski's going to roll the dice again.
And Pittsburgh always has been great in these situations, these short yardage, mano-a-mano type situations.
4th and a yard from the 14.
They got to delay a game?
Delay. Offense. 5-yard play.
That seemed to me to be a very quick clock. You know, there was a pile up after that previous play trying to get the spot and everything. I think they started the clock a little bit too quick. I think that's what Rob Chudzinski's thinking as well.
There is Chudzinski, the first-year head coach, 45 years of age, Toledo, Ohio native. Last couple of years as the offensive coordinator with Cam Newton in Carolina. And even after the penalty, they're going to go for it down 17-0. Opening minute, 4th quarter.
A different situation now, 4th and 7 as opposed to 4th and 1.5.
Steelers coming. Campbell to the end zone, trying to find Gordon, and incomplete. Ike Taylor on the coverage. And for the 3rd time today, Cleveland going for it on 4th and coming up short. 17-0. The Steelers defense holding again. Steelers scenario needing a win here to stay alive. Also needing wins by the Jets and Cincinnati, and the Ravens have come back. They have just converted on a 2-point try in that game. All even now in Cincinnati at 17. A Ravens win would end the Steelers season. Roethlisberger onto the field, Turner over on downs. 1st and 10 pass, finding Antonio Brown for another 1st down, and he is now at 109 receptions on the season, 3 away from Hines Ward record.
You know, the only weakness I see in Antonio Brown is his size, okay? 5'10", you know, traditionally that's maybe considered a little bit small, but you know what? When you have that size, it enables you to run such precise routes, and he's got the mentality of a tougher, bigger receiver, but the skills of a smaller, shifty receiver. You combine all that, you got a pretty impressive package.
Todd Haley continues to go to this no-huddle offense. And it has been so good for Pittsburgh's offensive unit, better than 30 points in consecutive games for the first time since 2007. It's Le'Veon Bell. 7 more yards, over 80 yards on the day. There's Todd Haley, 2nd year as the offensive coordinator here. He had some growing pains with Roethlisberger and Steve last year, well documented, but you talk to both men and the trust has really been developed here in year 2.
Well, it sure seems like that, and things have gone well from the early part of the season, and them settling in this more up-tempo offense, although they're trying to eat some clock now, but the up-tempo offense that's been so successful for him has alleviated, I think, some of that tension.
Bell on 2nd and 3, needing to get to the 43. Let's get you back to New York and an update Carolina and Atlanta.
A lot of time for Cam.
Too much time, JB. Look at Cam Newton. I think I want the number 1. No, give me the number 2. Give me the combo. Touchdown. Greg Olsen, 21-17. Carolina over the Falcons.
Steve Berline can appreciate that kind of time. Back to Spiro and Steve.
You're right, Spiro, and not that I have a favorite, but the Carolina Panthers, good to see them responding to the challenge that the Falcons are putting up. That win would secure them that number 2 spot in the NFC.
1st and 10 after the run by Bell. Roethlisberger has time. Airing it out over the middle, and it is picked off. Intercepted by Tashaun Gipson. Second pick by Roethlisberger today. That time trying to find Derek Moy. And Cleveland gets it back. Gipson, the safety, coming over the middle for the help timeout. Thursday on CBS, Sherlock's Greatest Rival returns in the first new elementary of the year. Discover the hit drama Thursday, 10/9 Central, only CBS. Rainy, overcast day here in Pittsburgh. 17-0 Steelers in front. Happy to have you with us. Spiro Dedes, Steve Berline. Happy New Year. Jason Campbell under center. 1st and 10 from the Cleveland 14. Here's Baker, who's been their workhorse today. Only his 3rd appearance as a member of Cleveland. Back to the interception by Gipson.
Well, watch Tashaun Gipson in the middle. Right here, you're going to see Derek Moy just running straight down the field, but he's inside the numbers. Then if he's going to throw this ball high, he's got to look the safety off. Right there, he hung the ball up in the air, didn't do anything to get Gipson off the middle of the field. That's why that ball was intercepted.
5th pick by Gipson on the season. Gipson, the 2nd year undrafted free agent, a couple of years back out of Wyoming. 2nd and 6. Campbell eludes the pressure. Incomplete, trying to lead Cameron down the sideline. Cameron didn't play last week, recovering from the concussion suffered against the Bears 2 weeks ago.
Jason Campbell has got to make this throw. He got pressure, he flushed nicely, and Cameron is wide open behind everybody. Put a little touch on the ball. Jason, that's a throw you've got to make. You got your receiver open down the field, big target, put it right on him or put it a little bit soft so he can run and catch up to it.
Campbell, a guy who's bounced around the 5-year stint in Washington, 9th year in the NFL. Today making his 8th start for Cleveland. 3rd and 6. Campbell feeling the pressure again. Sacked. Lawrence Timmons wrapping him up from the blind side as they dump him down at the 5, and Cleveland will punt.
Pittsburgh is known for their exotic blitz. You see all the crossing right there. You had Jarvis Jones and Josh Gordon. You had all kinds of pressure coming from everywhere. Lawrence Timmons finally finishing it off. Cortez Allen blanketing Josh Gordon right there. Nowhere to go with the football. It was the pressure, though. The exotic blitz package that Pittsburgh has always been known for that caused the problems.
Loss of 12, 3rd sack for Timmons on the season, and the 2nd time that they have gotten to Campbell today. Spencer Lanning from just outside his own end zone. Fielded by Brown at the 45. Steelers will have a short field. Look to be a face mask at the end of the play. Jordan Poyer, special teams player on the tackle.
It definitely looked like it, Spiro. I think you're right. The face mask.
Personal foul. Face mask on the kicking team. 15-yard penalty. 1st down. Timeout.
So they'll tack on 15 yards at the end of the play. Antonio Brown headed to Honolulu, not only as a receiver, but as a return man. You'll see right at the end of the play, Poyer
right,
grabbing the face mask.
You're exactly right, no doubt about it. You know, Antonio Brown, as you said, Spiro, voted to the Pro Bowl both as a returner and a receiver. He got in 2011 primarily as a receiver. Primarily as a return man, I mean a punt returner, and now this year it's obviously related to his exploits as a wide receiver. But as a returner still, 5 times this year he's had returns of 40 yards or more. So he is one of the best in the league, no doubt about it.
You know, last 2 weeks he's had returns of 60 and had a big 40-yard return last week on Sunday in Green Bay. We'll give Bell a blow here. Jonathan Dwyer onto the field. 1st and 10 from the Cleveland 22. Dwyer to the 20. As we get you back to New York and an update, JB and Shannon.
A sigh of relief, Shannon?
Yes, JB, what could have been a 2-possession game remains a 1-possession game, thanks to the missed field goal. Nick Novak, 14-7. Jets still in front.
Spiro and Steve.
The Steelers, of course, leading the Jets to win that game. Miami wins would mean that the Steelers' season is over. Last check, Baltimore and Cincinnati tied at 17. This is 2nd and 8. Wires still in the game inside the 20. And Steve, if you're a Steeler player or coach, you can't help but kind of glance up at the scoreboard and see what's going on in those other games.
Yeah, now that you're in the 4th quarter here and time is ticking down, you start kind of talking about it on the sideline. You start kind of doing the math in your head. And when they see the highlight of that missed field goal, when they hear about it, you know, that would have made them breathe a lot easier as far as that Miami-New York Jets game up, you know, without a doubt.
Brown showing blitz. 3rd and 6. Brown again. Inside the 15. Needed to get to about the 12 for the first down. Monty Bryant, backup defensive end, the rookie from East Central, on the tackle as we hit the 9-minute mark. As Ben Roethlisberger said that he'll head home after the game, watch the Kansas City-San Diego game, no matter what's happened in the 2 games going on now, Baltimore and Miami.
You know, another thing that Ben told us in that meeting Friday was that after, you know, going into the final week of the season, this is the first time he's never had any kind of injury to be focused on or worried about. He's not icing any part of his body, which if you know Ben Roethlisberger, you know he's been kept together late in the year in the last several years.
32-yard field goal from Sweezum, and Pittsburgh's lead now at 20. Well, the prognosticators didn't give the Steelers much of a chance to extend their season entering today. But so far, everything that had to happen is happening. Steelers on their way to a win here. The Jets are winning in Miami, and Cincinnati, Steve, has just taken a lead over the Raiders.
Let me just say this, Spiro. There is nobody in the NFL that wants to face the Pittsburgh Steelers right now, the way they've been playing the last 6 or 7 weeks.
Another touchback. Jason Campbell will have it from the 20 when we come back. Coming up next, 2 of the game's great quarterbacks in the clutch will play for home field. Tom Brady and the Patriots taking on the Bills in New England, while Peyton Manning and the Broncos meet the Raiders or the Chiefs against the Chargers. Check your local listings. Denver and Kansas, or New England rather, fighting for that #1 seed in the AFC. Denver with a win will have it. Jason Campbell goes play action, 1st and 10 from the 20. They've gotten to him twice. Campbell getting himself some time over the middle and incomplete. Greg Little surrounded by 3 different defenders. Another quiet afternoon for the 30-year receiver out of North Carolina.
Yeah, there's really been no life in this Cleveland Browns passing game today. They haven't found that rhythm that Rob Chudzinski was striving for yesterday right there. It's kind of a desperation heave by Jason Campbell out of his own end zone area.
They've basically been a 2-trick pony, Gordon and the tight end Cameron. Not much to speak of this season in terms of their run game. 2nd and 10. Campbell to Gordon. Out past the 25. Brought down by William Gay as we get you another update in New York. JB and Shannon.
Shannon graphically stated what Kansas City is doing.
No Alex Smith in the starting lineup today. Jamal Charles, a 19 touchdown. 4 Pro Bowl players not playing today. I don't really think Kansas City is trying to win this game.
Coach Cowher said, right move, get ready for the postseason. Back to Spiro and Steve.
You have all the help that Pittsburgh needed. That was the real area of concern. Not much to play for. The Chiefs locked into the 5th seed in the AFC. Brandon Timms had it. Excellent defensive reaction by Allen, able to jar it loose.
Yeah, Cortez Allen timed this perfectly. Was a well-thrown ball by Jason Campbell. You see that right hand got in there and just poked that ball out of there.
It's been a frustrating year for Allen. Came in as the first-year starter at one of the cornerbacks. Had a knee injury that caused him to miss a lot of the preseason. Then week 1 hurt his ankle against Tennessee. Missed a couple of weeks. Really hampered him even when he came back. Ended up losing his starting position for 7 weeks to William Gay, but won it back a couple of Sundays ago. Busy day for Lanning, and a fair catch signaled by Brown. Pittsburgh comfortably in front, 20-0, 7:31 left. Postseason picture in the AFC. We told you 5 teams in Kansas City locked in as the number 5 seed. Pittsburgh needing a win to keep their postseason hopes alive and needing a lot of help. We told you Baltimore, San Diego, and Miami all having to lose so far. Cincinnati up 27-17 over the Ravens, and the Jets in Miami right now in the 4th up 14-7.
So who does that put in the driver's seat?
San Diego Chargers. If everything holds, Steelers win here. That means that the Chargers in a position to win later today to get into the playoffs. Roethlisberger's pass batted down. Excellent defensive play. It's Leon McFadden making the start today for the injured Joe Hayden. McFadden had that pass interference call at the end of the New England game that gave the Patriots life. Tom Brady made him pay for it with the late touchdown. But another one of these young secondary players, Steve, that they're looking at, Ray Horton, defensive coordinator for the Browns and your old teammate in Dallas.
Right. He's done a super job with this Browns defense. They've played pretty consistently all year. A lot of young talent, as you've referenced many times today. And I think their future is very bright with a great defensive coordinator, Ray Horton.
Horton, a guy who had a very good career, 10 years as a defensive back in the NFL. Member of a Super Bowl championship team with you in Dallas. First of the 3 with Troy Aikman and Emmitt Smith and company. There is Horton here. Second stint with Pittsburgh, was their assistant defensive backs coach 04 to 06.
And I hope Ray doesn't take this personal, but you know, he had the career that he had as a defensive back safety because he was basically a coach on the field. He did not have the most incredible athletic ability or size, but he knew what was going on. He understood the game. It was always where he was supposed to be, getting people in the right position.
3rd and 10. Roethlisberger somehow comes out of the scrum and nearly runs for a first down. He's about 1.5 yards short. Stevie is just nearly impossible to bring down. How does he come out of this?
Well, he just did. See a little hip move right there, just kind of shimmied his hip forward a little bit. Right when that arm comes out, I don't know who it was right there. That was Jabal Sheard, and Roethlisberger right there just seems to have the ability to do that all the time. Even though he didn't get the first down, that was a heck of a play by Big Ben.
Steve mentioned it earlier, only the 2nd time in Roethlisberger's career that he's going to play a full 16-game season. And they have done just a terrific job of shoring up the pass protection. They've really been under pressure early part of the season, but they have shown a marked improvement keeping Roethlisberger upright. As Poyer's punt return gets him out close to the 30, 44-yard punt and a 21-yard return. Coming up, time permitting, after the game, the NFL Today update presented by Aflac. We'll get you to New York. JB and the guys will have all the latest scores and highlights around the league here in Week 17. There's Troy Polamalu making headlines this week, Steve, saying that he will honor his contract that takes him through 2014 next season. And at that point, he says he'll do some soul searching. He'll sit down with his family and decide what he wants to do.
Well, it takes 2 to tango, though. There's some speculation as to whether or not the Steelers will decide to bring him back at the very large $10 million cap number. So a lot of tough decisions to be made for the organization as well.
1st and 10, they get to Campbell again. It's Hayward on the sack penalty marker coming in behind the line of scrimmage.
Holding. Offense number 73 is declined. The sack brings up 2nd down.
2nd penalty on the 7-time Pro Bowler Thomas.
Yeah, just kind of gets bull rushed right there.
Well, you rarely see that.
Yeah, you don't see that very often. Cameron Hayward was low, got the momentum going, and Joe Thomas was on skates heading back toward Jason Campbell.
2nd and 17. Campbell steps up, finds the tight end Cameron across the 35, needing to get to the 40 for the first down. There is Cameron, who says that, boy, as a tight end, you just salivate playing in a Norv Turner offense. Norv really favoring the tight ends. Cameron this year leading all AFC tight ends in receiving yards. What a year he's had. Nearly 80 receptions as he approaches 900 yards. Campbell completes. That's Josh Gordon, and enough for a Cleveland first down. Just hasn't seemed to have much pop today. Look at his body language, Steve. He appeared to injure his hand earlier.
Yeah, it's tough, Spiro, too. You know, you're in week 17, as you said, not a whole lot to play for. It's been a frustrating, emotional year for this Browns organization, and it's hard not to let your mind drift as Jason Campbell throws the ball out of bounds. It's hard to not let your mind drift to the offseason. Now, you're a professional. You're expected to be able to sustain and show up ready to play every day. And I'm not saying that's what the problem is with Josh Gordon today.
There's Gordon where he sits, over 1,600 yards. This is up to the minute. Antonio Brown now has moved ahead of Calvin Johnson, who did not play today for Detroit. So they will finish 1-2 in the NFL, and Gordon will become the first Browns receiver ever to lead the league in receiving yards. Just a remarkable season for the young man after serving a 2-game suspension to start the year. 2nd and 10, Campbell's pass low, somehow fielded by Cameron. Actually, it's Josh Cooper. I beg your pardon. Cooper has been targeted multiple times in this game. That time 6 yards, and boy, in these wet conditions, what an effort by Cooper.
Yeah, we saw Cooper a little bit earlier with a drop on that big 4th down and short conversion opportunity. Right there, he makes up for it with a great catch.
Cooper, the second-year player out of Oklahoma State. Pass play over the middle to Gordon inside Steelers territory. Brought down as they'll mark it at about the 43. Again, keeping tabs on those other games. The Jets up 17-7 in the 4th, and Cincinnati a 10-point lead over the Ravens. So the Steelers, it looks like maybe sitting home later, still alive, and needing San Diego to lose at home to the Chiefs. 1st and 10, Campbell completes again, this time to Cameron. Brought down at the 36 as we get you an update from New York.
Jets expanding the lead.
Yes, JB, I called him Nick Novak earlier. He called me and said, get my name right. It's Nick Folk. Makes it a 2-possession game, 17-7.
And Drew Kaliski wanted to make sure I threw it back to Spiro and Steve.
That's right. You got to hold Shannon accountable, JB. Way to go, man. Drew Kaliski as well. Great job. But, yeah, I mean, I think this is a big tease, though, in my opinion, for the Pittsburgh Steelers, because we already heard from Shannon and JB that it's already been determined Alex Smith, Jamal Charles, and 4 total Pro Bowlers will not be in the lineup for the Kansas City Chiefs. And with the way the Chargers have been playing lately, I find it hard to believe they're not going to come out sky high ready to take advantage of this opportunity.
Well, it is the NFL. We've certainly seen stranger things happen.
That's true. Very true.
But everything to play for the Chargers later if all of these games hold. Chargers win, and they would be in. 3rd and short. It's Whitaker. First down, hook up and more, and he's into the end zone. Fozzie Whitaker getting the Cleveland Browns on the board late in the 4th.
A beautiful play design right here. Came up exactly the way Norv Turner, Rob Chudzinski wanted it to be. It was 3rd and short, and you see Fozzie Whitaker, number 35, right there slipping out of the backfield. Got that step on Lawrence Timmons, and Fozzie's got a little bit more speed, able to get to the outside, and a short pass turns into a big play for 6 points, and the shutout opportunity for Pittsburgh is over.
2nd receiving touchdown on the season for Whitaker. Started the year with the Chargers. Played 3 games in San Diego before the Browns claimed him off waivers in week 5. So 20-7 you score. That 35-yard pass play, Campbell to Whitaker. Browns cover 70 yards, 9 plays. And that takes us to 20-7, 2:46 to play in the 4th.
Yeah, so there you see Big Ben, and, you know, Cleveland scored a touchdown. You figure you got to have an onside kick coming here, being a 2-score ball game, and with the time remaining on the clock. But I think these guys all are probably sitting there talking about it now. That's why you might see a few smiles on the sideline. You know, the regular season's over. They've done their job, and now the two of the three teams that they're counting on have put themselves in position to win the ball games too. So
again, if you've just joined us, here is the scenario for the Steelers. Needed a win today. Looks like that'll happen. Also needed wins by the Jets and the Bengals. Both teams up 10 points respectively, fourth quarter of both games. As Mike Tomlin and the Steelers, one thing we do know, they win today, and it assures them of a non-losing season for a 10th straight year. Last time it happened was 2003. Only New England has a longer stretch of non-losing seasons. They've done it since 2000.
And don't think that's not important to Mike Tomlin and his legacy and these Steelers. They do not want to have a losing season.
Onside kick that did not go 10 yards, and look who falls on it. Troy Polamalu staying on the field on special teams for Pittsburgh.
Well, on the hands team right there, they try to do the little pooch onside kick. The kicker trying to recover it himself, and Polamalu anticipated it right away.
2:45 on the game clock. 2:45 on the game clock, please.
Steve, I know a lot was talked about what his future holds here. You have to think he'll come back. Will they ask him to restructure? That remains to be seen, but it's just hard to fathom this Pittsburgh defense without number 43.
It really is, and I guarantee you there's nobody in this stadium or this city that wants to even think about it. He is a legitimate institution here and has been the face of this franchise along with Ben Roethlisberger for a very long time.
Headed to his 8th Pro Bowl. Got the call Friday night as Le'Veon Bell crosses the 40 and gets to about the Cleveland 39. Coming up next, top seed in the AFC still hanging in the balance. Denver will have it with a win in Oakland. Some of you will see Buffalo at New England against the Patriots. And the big one coming up later in San Diego, Chiefs at the Chargers.
You know, I might postpone my flight. I think this might be a fun place to be for that late game. This town will be out running around looking at this San Diego KC game for sure.
And that will take us to the 2-minute warning. Like Tomlin said, we made our bed, and now we'll have to fight our way out of it. Looks like the Steelers are going to hold up their end of the bargain today. Up 13, 2 minutes left. All these Steeler fans rooting for the Jets today, and so far New York doing what they want them to do. 17-7 now inside of 4 minutes as they show the last replay. Jets with an interception late, and that was the reaction from Troy Polamalu looking at the replay up on the huge board here inside Heinz Field. 2nd and 7. Le'Veon Bell dances to about the 37-yard line. So again, the Steelers win here. Cincinnati beats Baltimore. The Jets win in Miami. So that means everything goes down to the game in San Diego.
A 30-second timeout.
Chargers win, and they're in. If the Chargers lose, Pittsburgh is in. That game will be coming up on CBS, 4:25 Eastern kick. Alex Smith and a number of regular starters not expected to play for the Chiefs.
You saw that smile by Troy Polamalu a minute ago, Spiro, and you know what that is? It's an older player realizing how hard it is to get back to the playoffs and appreciating the fact that there still is hope. You know, you come in early in your career and he's won a couple Super Bowls, and you know, to not go to the playoffs last year and then have the potential to not go this year, you know, you realize that you're mortal and your time is coming. You don't have that many more opportunities, and so when you feel like there's a chance, it gets you excited, it gets your juices going again.
You saw Ryan Clark seated next to Polamalu. Brett Kiesel to his left. Those two combining on that monstrous play late in the game in Green Bay last Sunday to keep their postseason hopes alive. Little pitch play to Bell.
That was
well short of the first down marker.
Not quite,
Timeout. Cleveland, their 3rd and final.
not quite sure what that play was. It was a little, Ben's shaking his head. I think Antonio Brown, I think, came in motion, and Ben wasn't expecting to see him get right in the way of that toss.
Well, they've been so consistent here under Roethlisberger, two-time Super Bowl champ. Updated score. We'll get your bonus coverage coming up in Miami. Jets up over the Dolphins 20-7. But the Steelers have never missed the playoffs in consecutive years under Tomlin. It's never happened under Roethlisberger. As Ben trying to extend their season. We know that Ben and his wife expecting the birth of their second child in March. But wants to keep playing football at least for one more week.
And you can see, you talk about a guy growing up, and for whatever the reasons, been through whatever he's been through, there's a contentment and a peace about him when you have the conversation that is really good to see. He seems to be very comfortable and very happy with the way things are going, except for the fact that they may not get into the playoffs this year.
There's McBriar. Beautiful pass last Sunday on the fake punt. That shocked the Packers. One of the big special teams plays in that Steelers victory. So that one through the end zone, and Jason Campbell and company will have it from their own 20. We mentioned it earlier. Tomlin said he'll be heading home. He'll be in his basement later on the couch with his two young boys watching the San Diego-Kansas City game. Hard not to like Mike Tomlin. You sit and you spend time with him. What a run he's had here. Hired at the age of 34 in 2007. Youngest head coach to ever get to and win a Super Bowl.
He's been two.
He's led the Steelers to the playoffs in 4 of his 6 seasons. Campbell on 1st and 10. That's Whitaker. The touchdown catch earlier, forced out of bounds by Polamalu. Cleveland out of timeouts and a minute 30 left. And so the Steelers with the win. Steve will get to 500. And Cleveland, I told you, missing the playoffs for an 11th straight year.
Be their 7th straight loss. Disappointing end to a season that, as you stated, Spiro, started out with so much promise.
This will be the 6th consecutive year of at least 11 losses. Second down pass to Gordon.
Pass complete to Gordon.
20 yards. Tackle made by Taylor. And the big decision for Cleveland will be who will be their quarterback next year. We know Brian Hoyer had that very impressive 3-week run before tearing his ACL early in the year.
That's a good point, Spiro.
I'll get Steve's thoughts on that in a moment. First, an update back into New York with James Brown.
This does not help the Ravens call.
Yes, JB, this last interception by Joe Flacco might be the last pass he throw in a meaningful ball game this year. Intercepted by Dre Kirkpatrick. Under 5 minutes now, 27-17. Bengals on top of the Ravens.
Spiro and Steve.
Well, Shannon said might. I don't know what I guess the situation if all teams lose that were expected to win. If they all lose, all 4 teams we're talking about. Intercepted.
Off the hands of Whitaker and intercepted by Timmons.
But if all 4 teams we're talking about, Spiro, the Dolphins, the Ravens, the Chargers, and Pittsburgh lose, then the Ravens somehow back in. So that's the one scenario that Shannon's talking about.
Hard to see that happening at this point.
Right. I don't think it's going to be an issue at this point.
As the season could very well be ending for the Super Bowl champs. Lawrence Timmons had the sack earlier and pads his numbers with the pick.
Yeah, Whitaker's got to make that catch. That's just kind of more salt on the wound for Jason Campbell. You were talking about their quarterback situation as Big Ben takes a knee. The Hoyer. Brian Hoyer, I think, is the guy, talking to Norv Turner before the game, that would be the guy that they would say have the edge coming into the season next year. So we'll see how that plays out.
Updated playoff picture. The Steelers will finish at 8-8. And it all comes down to the game in San Diego that'll kick just before 4:30. Kansas City, San Diego, Chargers win, and they're in. But if Kansas City wins, the Steelers will sneak into the playoffs. Bonus coverage coming up. We'll take you to Miami for the Jets and the Dolphins. Jets up 20-7 with just under 2 minutes remaining. Special thanks to our fantastic crew. Our producer, Ryan Galvin, director Jimmy Cornell, and the rest of our Fantastic CBS crew here in Pittsburgh. Final score, the Steelers win it 20-7. There is hope here in Pittsburgh. Coming up next, Buffalo, New England, or Denver and Oakland. Now for Steve Berline, Spiro Ditas saying so long from Pittsburgh. You've been watching the NFL on CBS. We'll send you to James Brown in New York for the NFL Today update presented by Aflac next.